The first thing Maya Collins saw was not the lace. It was the blade. A thin silver edge glinted beneath the torn waistline of the wedding dress, half hidden under ivory satin and hand-stitched pearls. For one breath, the bridal boutique went silent around her. The rain outside Charleston's King Street windows blurred the morning light into silver streaks. The chandeliers above her reflected in the polished floor. Behind her, a bride with diamond earrings and a mouth full of insults was still demanding that Maya hurry. But Maya did not move. Her fingers hovered over the fabric. The knife was small, elegant, and cruel. It had been sewn into the dress with the kind of precision only a professional would notice. Not a pocket, not a hidden accessory. A weapon, placed just beneath the bride's waistline, angled inward, where no security guard would pat too firmly and no groom would suspect danger until he was close enough to embrace her. Close enough to die. Maya. The bride's voice snapped like a whip. Did you suddenly forget how to do your job? Maya slowly lifted her eyes. Celeste Moreau stood in the center of the boutique like she owned the building, the street, and every person breathing inside it. She was stunning in a way that felt expensive and sharpened. Tall, slender, pale blonde hair pinned beneath a silk veil, emerald eyes cold enough to make other women apologize for standing too close. Her torn wedding dress pooled around her like a white storm. Beside her, the boutique owner, Mrs. Penfield, twisted her hands nervously. Maya, please. Mrs. Penfield whispered. Just repair the seam. Maya looked back down at the blade. She had been yelled at by rich brides before. She had been called slow, lazy, too big for the fitting room, too plain to understand beauty, too replaceable to have an opinion. She had learned to swallow humiliation because rent did not care about pride. And her sewing machine at home still needed repairs. And her younger cousin still needed help with school fees. But there were things even poverty could not make her do. She placed both hands on the table and stepped back from the dress. I can't return this to you. Celeste blinked once, then laughed. It was not a surprised laugh. It was a weapon wearing perfume. Excuse me. Maya's heart was pounding, but her voice stayed calm. I said I can't return the dress. The boutique went still. Two assistants stopped pretending to arrange veils. A mother and daughter near the mirror turned pale. Rain tapped harder against the glass. Soft and relentless. Celeste moved closer, her heels clicking against the marble floor. You are refusing, she said slowly, to fix my wedding dress. I'm refusing to let this leave the shop until someone explains why there is a blade sewn inside it. The bride's face changed, only for a second. A flicker, a crack in the porcelain. Then Celeste's fury flooded back. You disgusting little liar. Mrs. Penfield gasped. Celeste, please. No. Celeste pointed at Maya, her diamond bracelet flashing. She is jealous. Look at her. She spends all day touching dresses she will never wear. Staring at women men actually choose. And now she wants attention. Maya felt the words land. She hated that they still hurt. At 29 years old, she had spent enough years in fitting rooms to know how women like Celeste looked at her. Like her body was proof of failure, like her soft stomach, full hips, round face, and tired eyes made her less deserving of softness, less deserving of romance, less deserving of being seen. Maya swallowed the sting and reached into the dress with 2 fingers. "Don't touch that," Celeste, he said. Maya pulled the blade free. The room inhaled. It was no longer rumor, no longer accusation. It lay in Maya's palm, slim and silver, wrapped at the handle in white thread, beautiful enough to be mistaken for jewelry, deadly enough to stop a heart. "Mrs." Penfield covered her mouth. Celeste's eyes locked on the knife. Then the bell over the boutique door rang. The entire room turned. 3 men in black suits entered first. Not customers, not husbands. Guards. They moved with the silence of men trained to notice exits before faces. One stepped aside, and the man behind them walked in. Luca Santoro did not need to introduce himself. The atmosphere did it for him. Even the chandeliers seemed to dim around his presence. He was tall, broad-shouldered, dressed in a black tailored suit beneath a dark wool coat dampened by rain. His hair was black, his jaw shadowed, his expression calm in a way that frightened Maya more than anger would have. A faint scar cut through one eyebrow. Tattoos disappeared beneath the cuffs of his shirt and climbed just high enough along his throat to suggest secrets written where polite society could not look away. The bride's face transformed instantly. "Luca," Celeste said, voice trembling with perfect distress. "Thank God you here." But Luca Santoro was not looking at her. He was looking at Maya, more precisely, at the blade in her hand. The guards went motionless. Mrs. Penfield looked as if she might faint. Celeste rushed toward him, veil swaying. "She tried to sabotage me. She's insane. I brought the dress in for a simple tear, and she started accusing me of—" "Stop." One word. Quiet. The room obeyed. Luca walked forward. Each step measured. Maya noticed people lowered their eyes as he passed. Celeste reached for his arm, but he did not look at her. He stopped across the table from Maya. For one dangerous second, they simply stared at each other over the wedding dress. His eyes were dark, not black, not brown, exactly, but deep enough that Maya felt pulled toward something cold and endless. She should have looked down. Every instinct told her men like him were not meant to be challenged. But the knife was still warm from her palm, and someone had nearly made her part of a murder. So Maya held his gaze. Luca glanced at the blade. "Where did you find it?" "Sewn beneath the waistline." "Show me." Celeste sucked in a breath. "Luca, you cannot seriously believe." He did not raise his voice. "Celeste." She stopped. Maya placed the blade on the table, then turned the dress carefully, exposing the opened seam. She pointed to the inner lining, where threads had been cut and resewn with microscopic precision. The tear wasn't accidental. Maya said, "Someone ripped the outer layer so I would repair it fast and miss the hidden pocket underneath. See the stitch tension. The thread doesn't match the original work." Luca leaned closer. So did one of his guards. Maya could smell rain, leather, and expensive cologne. But she kept her fingers steady. The blade was angled here. She continued, "If the bride moved close enough during a ceremony, or if someone pressed into her from the front." She stopped. The image finished itself. Luca's expression did not change. That was what made him terrifying. He lifted the blade by the white-wrapped handle and turned it toward the light. Something engraved on the metal caught his attention. His jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. Celeste saw it too. Her panic sharpened into anger. "This is humiliating," she snapped. "You are letting a seamstress accuse your future wife in public." Maya felt every eye in the boutique swing back to her. The word seamstress was not an insult. Not to Maya. Her grandmother had been one. Her mother had mended church dresses for women who paid in groceries. Maya had learned to sew before she learned to braid her own hair. She knew fabric, weight, hidden structure, the quiet architecture of beauty. But from Celeste's mouth, it meant servant, disposable. Beneath her, Maya looked at Luca and forced the words out before fear could steal them. "Someone wanted you close enough to die." The silence after that sentence felt alive. Luca Santoro looked at Maya as if she had just stepped out of the life he understood and into the center of his war. Then he turned to one of his men. "Lock the door." Mrs. Penfield made a strangled sound. The guard obeyed. The click of the lock echoed through the boutique like a gunshot. Celeste's eyes widened. "Luca, what are you doing?" "Finding out which person in this room is lying." Maya's stomach dropped. Because suddenly, saving a stranger's life did not feel heroic. It felt like stepping into a cage. And the most dangerous man in Charleston had just closed the door behind her. Luca questioned everyone without ever appearing to interrogate them. That was the first thing Maya learned about him. He did not shout. He did not threaten with wild gestures. He sat in a velvet chair near the fitting mirrors, one ankle crossed over the other, the blade resting on a silk handkerchief on the table beside him, and let silence do most of the hurting. His men took phones. Mrs. Penfield cried quietly into a tissue. Celeste paced in front of the mirrors, her wedding dress dragging behind her, fury turning her beauty sharp. Maya stood beside the work table because no one had told her she was allowed to sit. After 20 minutes, her feet ached. After 30, her throat was dry. After 40, Luca finally looked at her again. "You saw no one touch the dress before you?" "No." "Did Celeste bring it in herself?" "Yes." Celeste spun toward him. "Of course I did." Maya ignored her. She carried it in a garment bag. The tear was on the left side. She said it happened getting out of the car. "Did you believe that?" "No." The answer slipped out before Maya softened it. Luca's eyes narrowed slightly. Celeste gave a bitter laugh. "She has opinions now." Maya turned to her. The fabric tore inward. If it caught on a car door, the pull would have gone the other way. For the first time, Luca's mouth almost moved. Not a smile. Something more dangerous. Interest. Mrs. Penfield looked horrified. "Maya, please be careful." Maya felt heat rise in her cheeks, but she did not apologize. Luca tapped one finger on the arm of the chair. "You noticed that before the blade?" "Yes." "Why didn't you say anything?" "Because rich brides don't like being corrected by women who hem dresses for a living." His guards glanced at one another. Celeste went still. Luca leaned back, studying Maya with that cold, unreadable focus. "And yet you corrected her anyway." "I corrected the dress." The dress told the truth first. That time, his expression did shift, just slightly, as if she had surprised him. It should not have mattered, but Maya felt it in the center of her chest. For most of her life, people's eyes had slid past her. In bridal shops, they looked through her to mirrors, gowns, slimmer bodies, prettier fantasies. Luca Santoro looked at her like he was trying to memorize the exact shape of her courage. It made her uncomfortable. It also made her feel dangerously awake. Celeste suddenly stepped forward and slapped her palm on the table. Enough. I am not standing here while this woman performs some little detective fantasy. Luca's voice turned colder. Careful. She is nobody. He stood. The boutique seemed to shrink around him. Celeste took one step back before pride stopped her. Luca picked up the blade. Someone got this past my security, he said. Someone knew the ceremony arrangements. Someone knew I would stand close enough during the vows for this to matter. Celeste lifted her chin. Then investigate your men. Not me. I will investigate everyone. Maya heard it then. Not anger. Betrayal. Buried so deep, most people would miss it. Celeste heard it too, and her eyes flashed. You need this wedding, she said softly. Do not forget that. A strange shadow crossed Luca's face. Need, not want. Maya caught the difference. Before she could think about it, someone pounded on the locked boutique door. Everyone turned. Through the rain-streaked glass, Maya saw more black cars pulling up outside. Not Luca's. The guards reacted instantly, hands moving inside jackets. Luca stepped in front of Celeste out of instinct, but his eyes moved to Maya. Get down. The window shattered. Maya did not even hear the first shot as much as feel the boutique explode around her. Glass burst inward. Women screamed. Mannequins toppled. The chandelier trembled above them, crystals ringing like terrified bells. A guard grabbed Celeste. Another shoved Mrs. Penfield behind the front counter. Maya froze. Her body forgot how to run. Then Luca Santoro crossed the room in 3 strides and pulled her down behind the work table. Not Celeste. Not the bride. Here. His body came over hers like a wall. His hand pressed to the back of her head, forcing her beneath his shoulder as bullets tore through silk displays and mirror frames. The wedding dress slid half off the table, ivory lace spilling across them like fallen snow. Maya's cheek pressed against the floor. Her heartbeat roared in her ears. Luca's coat smelled of rain and smoke. Breathe, he said, near her ear. She tried. Couldn't. His hand tightened not cruelly, but with command. Maya, breathe. He knew her name. In the middle of gunfire, he had remembered her name. Something inside her obeyed. Air burned into her lungs. The shooting ended as suddenly as it began. Outside, engines screamed away down the wet street. Luca's men moved fast, speaking into radios, securing the broken door, checking bodies. No one in the boutique had been hit, though a shard of glass had cut Maya's forearm. She did not notice until Luca did. He took her wrist. Maya flinched. His eyes dropped to the cut. Blood welled in a thin red line. Celeste, pale and furious, stared at his hand around Maya's wrist. The whole room saw it. Luca released Maya slowly, as if remembering himself. "You need a doctor," he said. "It's a scratch. It is evidence that someone tried to kill you." Maya stared at him. "Me?" His gaze moved toward the shattered window. They knew where the dress was. The words settled over her like cold water. Celeste stepped forward. "Luca, we need to leave. Now." He did not look at her. "Maya comes with us." "No," Maya said immediately. Every head turned. Luca looked down at her. Maya pushed herself to her feet, legs trembling. "No, I am not going anywhere with you." His guards looked almost offended. Luca only watched her. "Maya." "Mrs." Penfield whispered. "Terrified. Do what he says." Maya hated that her voice shook. But she kept talking. "I found the knife. I told the truth. That does not make me yours to move around." Luca's face hardened. For a moment. She saw the man people feared. The one under the tailored suit and controlled voice. The one who could close a room with a command and make armed men obey without hesitation. Then his eyes dropped briefly to the cut on her arm. "You are already involved," he said. "And whoever fired through that window believes you know more than you do." "I don't." "They will not care." Celeste laughed coldly. "Let her stay then, if she is so independent." Luca finally turned to his bride. The look he gave her made the boutique colder. Celeste's smile faded. When Luca faced Maya again, his voice was quiet. "You can walk out that door with my protection, or you can walk out without it. But if you choose pride over survival, understand what you are choosing." Maya wanted to hate him for that. She did hate him for that. But beyond the broken glass, rain blurred the black street. The cars that had shot at them were gone. Her apartment was only 12 blocks away, above a closed bakery with a broken stairwell light. She had no guards, no weapon, no one powerful enough to stand between her and whatever war she had touched. She looked at the dress, then at the knife, then at Luca Santoro. "I need my sewing kit." His gaze flicked to her face. "Why?" "Because if someone is trying to kill you with a dress, then the dress still knows more than any of us." For a long moment, Luca said nothing. Then he gave a single nod. One of his men retrieved her kit, and that was how Maya Collins left the bridal boutique through shattered glass. Wrapped in the black coat of a mafia boss who was still supposed to marry another woman. The city changed inside Luca Santoro's car, Charleston, which Maya had always known as pastel houses, church bells, old money, and tourists taking pictures beneath live oaks, became something else from behind tinted glass. Black SUVs moved in formation through rain-slick streets. Men on corners noticed the convoy and lowered their eyes. Restaurant doors opened before anyone knocked. Police cars turned down side streets as if they had remembered somewhere else to be. Maya sat in the back seat beside Luca, holding her sewing kit on her lap like it could protect her. Celeste sat in the front passenger seat, rigid with rage. No one spoke for 5 minutes. Then Celeste said, "This is absurd." Luca looked out the window. "You have said that. My father will be insulted. Your father should be more concerned with whoever put a blade in your dress." He will be concerned with the scandal you are creating by dragging that woman into our private affairs. That woman. Maya stared down at her hands. Her fingers were nicked from years of needles. Her nails were short. One thumbnail split. The hands of someone who fixed beautiful things for people who never wondered who fixed her. Luca's voice cut through the car. Her name is Maya. Celeste turned slowly. Maya did too. Luca's eyes remained on the rain outside. The correction was small. It should not have felt like a shield. But it did. Celeste went silent. They arrived at a mansion on the Battery. Its white columns rising behind iron gates, like something from another century. Spanish moss hung from the trees. Armed men stood beneath the portico. The house glowed warm against the grey morning. All money and menace. Inside, everything was polished. Wood. Marble. Low voices. And security screens hidden behind antique paintings. Maya had never felt more out of place. Her blouse was wrinkled. Her skirt was damp. Her hair had come loose from its clip. Soft curls escaping around her face. She caught her reflection in a gilded mirror and saw exactly what Celeste must have seen: a tired plus-size woman in sensible shoes. Standing in a mansion where every surface cost more than her yearly rent. Then Luca appeared behind her in the reflection. His coat was gone. His black shirt fit close enough to reveal the strength beneath it. Tattoos curved along his forearms now. Dark ink against olive skin. His presence swallowed the space between them. "You are bleeding again," he said. Maya looked down. The cut on her forearm had reopened. "It's fine." "You say that often." "Because men like you usually turn small wounds into reasons to control people." His eyes lifted to hers in the mirror. A dangerous silence. Behind them, a guard shifted uncomfortably. Luca stepped closer. Not touching. Almost. "Men like me," he said. "Do not need reasons." Maya's breath caught. The words should have frightened her. They did. But there was no bragging in them. No cheap threat. Just fact. Power spoken without decoration. She turned away from the mirror. "Then why give me one?" For the first time since the boutique. Luca looked as if he did not have an answer ready. A woman in a navy dress entered carrying a medical tray. "Mr. Santoro." Luca moved back. The distance returned. Cold. Proper. Controlled. "Patch her arm," he said. Maya sat at a long dining table while the woman cleaned the cut. Across the room, Luca spoke quietly with his men. Celeste stood near the window, whispering angrily into a phone until one of Luca's guards took it from her. Maya pretended not to notice, but she noticed everything. The mansion's exits, the guards' patterns, the way Luca never turned his back fully to Celeste, the way Celeste watched him whenever his attention drifted toward Maya. After her arm was bandaged, Maya asked for the dress. Luca had it brought in. It looked ghostly laid across the dining table. Its torn waist opened like a wound. Maya put on her reading glasses, pulled a small magnifier from her sewing kit, and began examining the lining. No one interrupted her this time. That alone felt strange. Maya worked slowly, following thread paths, checking seams, searching for inconsistency. Her body calmed when her hands had purpose. Fabric made sense when people did not. After 20 minutes, She found it. A second layer beneath the bodice. Not a weapon this time. A hidden strip of silk. Folded so tightly it felt like reinforcement. She opened it with her seam ripper. Inside was a sliver of transparent film no wider than a ribbon. Luca was beside her instantly. "What is that?" "I don't know." One of his men muttered. "Microfilm." Celeste's face drained of color. Luca saw. So did Maya. He lifted the film carefully with tweezers. "Take it to Marco." "Now." A guard left. Celeste folded her arms. "This is theater." Maya looked at her. "Then why are you shaking?" Celeste slapped her. The sound cracked through the dining room. Maya's head turned with the force of it. Pain bloomed across her cheek. Hot and humiliating. For one breath, she was back in every fitting room where a woman had pinched her arm and told her to stand differently. Every school hallway where boys had laughed. Every job interview where someone had said they needed a more polished look. Then Luca moved. He did not touch Celeste. He did not need to. He was simply there. Close enough that Celeste stopped breathing. "Do not," he said softly, "ever put your hands on her again." Celeste stared at him as if he had betrayed her. Maybe he had. Maya pressed her fingers to her cheek. Refusing to cry, Luca turned, and the fury in his eyes became something else when it landed on her. Controlled. Contained. Worse because it was held back. He reached toward her face. Stopped. His hand lowered. Maya noticed. So did he. The moment hung between them, intimate and unfinished. Then a guard returned with a tablet. "Boss." Luca took it. Whatever he saw on the screen erased the room from his face. Maya watched his expression die by degrees until only the Mafia Boss remained. Celeste whispered, "Luca." He turned the tablet toward her. "This film contains the route to my daughter's safe house." The world seemed to tilt. "Daughter." Maya stared at him. Celeste's lips parted. But no sound came. Luca's voice was almost gentle. "And it was hidden inside your dress." Nobody moved. Rain whispered against the windows. Maya suddenly understood the shadow she had heard earlier in his voice. The wedding was not romance, not ambition, not even alliance. It was fear wearing a suit. Celeste recovered first. "I don't know anything about a child." Luca took one step toward her. "You knew enough to warn me not to insult your father. My father arranged this marriage because your family needs ours. My family needs no one." "Then why are you marrying me?" His silence answered. Celeste smiled slowly, cruelly. There it was. The real wound. Maya looked at Luca and saw a man who could command a city but could not publicly admit the one thing his enemies held over him. A daughter, hidden so deeply even his own bride could use her like a secret blade. Maya's anger shifted, not softer, sharper. She looked at the ruined dress. "How old is she?" Luca did not answer. His guard did. Quietly. 6. Luca's eyes cut toward him. The guard lowered his head. Maya swallowed. 6. She imagined a little girl hidden in some room far from her father. Maybe told it was for safety. Maybe missing him in a way no bodyguard could fix. Celeste's voice turned silky. "This is exactly why emotional men make poor kings." Luca did not move. but every guard in the room seemed to tense. Maya stood before she could think better of it. "Emotional," she said. Celeste turned her cold eyes on her. Maya's cheek still burned. Her arm still throbbed. She was terrified, but something inside her had crossed a line. "You brought a wedding dress into a shop with a knife sewn inside and a child's safe house route hidden in the lining," Maya said. "And you recalling him emotional." Celeste's mouth tightened. "You have no idea what kind of world you are speaking into." "No," Maya said. "But I know what kind of woman hides behind lace." The slap had been public, so Maya let the truth be public too. Celeste lunged. Luca caught her wrist mid-air. This time he did touch her. Not tenderly, not cruelly, just enough to stop her. "You are done," he said. Celeste laughed, but her eyes were wild. "You think you can walk away now? My father owns half the judges in this state, and the other half owe him favors. If you humiliate me, he will burn Charleston to get what he wants. He already tried." "No," she whispered. "He lets you find the blade." That stopped him. Celeste's smile returned, trembling and triumphant. "You still don't understand. The knife was bait. The film was bait. Her finding it was bait." Herr Gazis lied to Maya. Maya went cold. Luca's face darkened. Celeste leaned close enough to speak like a lover. "Now the whole city will know. Luca Santoro dragged a plus-size seamstress into his house on the morning of his wedding while his bride was accused of murder. My father does not have to kill you today. He only has to make every ally wonder whether you are distracted." She looked at Maya again. "And she is the distraction." The next hour happened like a storm trapped indoors. Phones rang. Men moved. Screens lit up with footage of the boutique shooting, already leaked to local news. A gossip headline appeared within minutes. "Mafia, hair brings bridal shop girl to family mansion after wedding scandal." Maya saw a blurry photo of herself stepping into Luca's SUV wearing his coat. Her stomach twisted. Bridal shop girl, not seamstress. Not witness. Not woman. Girl. Celeste was taken upstairs under guard. Still smiling. Luca ordered half his men to secure his daughter's location and the other half to prepare for a meeting with the Moro family that night. Maya stood alone in the dining room, suddenly aware that she had not eaten since dawn. Luca entered without sound. She did not turn. "I can send you somewhere safe," he said. Maya laughed once. Quietly. "Is there such a place in your world?" "No." "At least you were honest." He came to stand beside her, leaving a careful distance. On the muted television, her own frightened face appeared again. Maya's throat tightened. "My boss will fire me. I'll buy the boutique." That does not solve everything. It solves employment. She looked at him. "That is exactly how men like you think." His jaw flexed. "You think every wound can be paid for." She said, "Every insult buried under money. Every person moved around like furniture because you have the power to move them." His voice lowered. "I moved you because someone would have killed you. You moved me because I became useful." The silence that followed confirmed enough. Maya looked away before he could see the hurt. Luca did not deny it. "At first," he said. Her chest tightened against her will. "At first." Two dangerous words. She wanted to ask what she was now. She refused to give him that much power. Instead, she picked up her sewing kit. I want to go home. No. The answer came too fast. Maya turned. You don't get to say no to me. When someone is hunting you, I do. You are not my husband. His eyes changed. Just slightly. The word husband hung in the air between them. Absurd and intimate, because he was supposed to become someone else by nightfall. No, he said quietly. I am not. The softness in his voice made Maya more nervous than his command had. Then his phone buzzed. He looked at the screen. Whatever fragile thing had entered the room disappeared. They found your apartment. Maya went still. Luca's expression was controlled. But his eyes were not. They tore it apart 10 minutes ago. Her sewing kit almost slipped from her hands. My apartment. Yes. My cousin. Not there. We checked. He is at school. Relief hit so hard she nearly sank. Luca stepped closer. Maya. But she backed away. Don't. His face tightened. You knew this would happen. She whispered. You knew getting into your car meant my life would be ripped open. I knew refusing protection would get you killed. That is not the same thing as saving me. Something dark moved through his eyes. No, he said. It is not. There it was again. Honesty that felt like a cut. By sunset, Maya was no longer a seamstress. She was a headline, a liability, a woman trapped inside a mansion with a mafia boss, his accused bride, and a war gathering outside the gates. At 8 that night, Luca took her to the meeting. He did not ask. He told her, Celeste's father needs to see you alive. Why? Because if you disappear, he controls the story. And if I appear, then I do. She stared at him while 2 women brought in a black dress for her to wear. It was simple, elegant, and far more expensive than anything Maya owned. She refused it at first. Then she saw her own torn blouse in the mirror. Pride did not make armor, so she changed. The dress fit too well. Maya suspected Luca had ordered it based on one glance at her body, which annoyed her almost as much as it unsettled her. It did not hide her curves. It shaped them. Soft waist, full hips, deep neckline, sleeves that covered the bandage on her arm. For once, a dress did not make her feel like an apology. When she stepped into the hall, Luca was waiting. His eyes moved over her, slowly, not crudely. Worse, like he had been given a weapon he had not expected. Maya's pulse jumped. Don't, she said. His gaze returned to her face. Don to what? Look at me like that. A beat of silence. Like what? Like you forgot I was useful. Something flashed behind his eyes. Then he stepped closer, adjusting the black shawl over her shoulders with careful hands that did not quite touch her skin. I have not forgotten anything about you. The words were low enough that only she heard them. Maya looked up. For one suspended moment, the hallway narrowed to his hands near her throat. The scent of him, the weight of his stare. He was close enough to touch, close enough to frighten her, close enough that some reckless part of her wondered what his mouth would feel like if he stopped controlling himself. Then a guard appeared. Cars are ready. Luca stepped back. The moment broke. The meeting took place at a private club beneath an old Charleston hotel. Behind a kitchen, down a staircase, past two locked doors guarded by men with guns. Maya entered beside Luca. Every conversation stopped. Men in suits turned. Women with diamonds froze mid-sip. Celeste stood beside an older man with silver hair and pale eyes, Auguste Moreau. Her father? He looked at Maya the way a butcher might inspect an animal before deciding where to cut. Luca's hand moved to the small of Maya's back. Not touching at first, then barely. A warning to the room. Or to her. She did not know which. Celeste wore another white dress now. Sleek and merciless. Her smile sharpened when she saw Maya. How sweet. Celeste said. You dressed the help. Luca's voice was calm. You will speak respectfully. A ripple passed through the room. Auguste Moreau watched with interest. Luca, he said, this is becoming theatrical. Your daughter brought a weapon to our wedding. My daughter brought a damaged dress to a shop. Auguste's eyes flicked toward Maya. What happened after that seems to depend on the imagination of a woman suddenly enjoying attention. Maya felt the old humiliation rise. Luca felt her stiffen. His fingers pressed once against her back. A command. Stay. So she did. Auguste smiled. Tell me, Miss Collins, how much did he pay you? Maya looked at him. Everyone watched. She had spent her whole life making herself smaller in rooms like this, smiling when insulted, shrugging when dismissed, swallowing words because survival demanded politeness from people who could not afford anger. But that morning, a hidden blade had taught her something. Sometimes a seam was only invisible until it tore. He hasn't paid me anything, Maya said, which is unfortunate, considering how much trouble your family is causing. A few men shifted. Someone coughed. Luca's hand stilled at her back. Auguste's smile thinned. Careful. I have been careful all day, Maya said. That's why he's alive. The room went silent. For the second time that day, Luca looked at her as if fascination was becoming something he resented. Celeste stepped forward. You arrogant. Enough, Luca said. Auguste looked amused now. And what exactly do you want? Luca, an apology, a postponed wedding, a public declaration that my daughter carries knives in couture. I want the location of whoever received the film. Auguste's expression did not change, but Maya saw Celeste's fingers tighten around her glass. There, a thread. Maya stared at her hand. Green emerald ring, white knuckles, tiny scratch near the thumb. The same white thread had been wrapped around the knife handle. Maya looked back at Celeste's dress, near her hip, barely visible against the fabric. A loose thread curled from the seam. Maya took one step forward. Luca's hand fell away. Maya, he warned softly. She ignored him. Everyone watched as she approached Celeste. Celeste's eyes narrowed. What are you doing? Maya stopped just close enough. Then she reached out and pulled the loose white thread from Celeste's dress. Celeste grabbed her wrist. Luca moved instantly, but Maya had already lifted the thread into the light. Same thread, Maya said. Auguste's face darkened. Celeste laughed. But it sounded wrong. That proves nothing. No, Maya said. But it means whoever sewed the blade used thread from a second dress. Maybe this one. Luca took the thread from her fingers. The room had changed. Everyone felt it. Auguste Moreau was no longer amused. He turned to Celeste. "You careless girl." It was not loud. It was worse. A father furious not because his daughter had done evil, but because she had done it badly. Celeste's face crumpled for half a second. Then, pride saved her. Luca smiled for the first time all day. It did not make him warmer. It made him look lethal. "Thank you, Auguste." Moreau's eyes returned to him. For what? For confirming she knew. The club erupted. Chairs scraped. Men stood. Hands moved toward weapons. Luca-esque guards closed in around Maya. Auguste Moreau snapped orders. Celeste shouted something Maya could not hear over the sudden roar. Then the lights went out. Darkness swallowed the room. A hand grabbed Maya from behind. She screamed, but another hand clamped over her mouth. She kicked backward, hit someone's shin, twisted hard. The grip tightened. She smelled cologne that was not Lucas, heard a man curse near her ear. Then a gun fired. One flash, another. Maya was dragged toward the rear hall. Her shoulder hit a door frame. Pain exploded down her arm. She bit the hand over her mouth. The man shouted. A voice cut through the dark. "Maya." "Luca." Not shouted, not panicked, but something in it made every hair rise on her arms. The man holding her froze just long enough. Maya drove her elbow back. He loosened. Then Luca was there. She did not see what he did, only felt the grip vanish, heard a body hit the floor. And then Luca pulled her against him as emergency lights flickered red overhead. His arm locked around her waist. Too tight. Possessive. Terrified. For 1 second. His face was inches from hers. His breath rough. His control cracked wide enough for her to see the fear beneath it. "Are you hurt?" She shook her head. His eyes searched her face anyway. Someone shouted that Moreau was escaping. Luca did not move. Maya stared at him. "Go." He looked toward the exit, then back at her. For a second, the war waited on his choice. "Luca," she whispered. "Go." His jaw tightened. He released her to a guard. "If she leaves your sight, you answer to me." Then he disappeared into the red-lit chaos. By midnight, 3 things were clear. Auguste Moreau had fled Charleston. Celeste had vanished with him, and Luca's daughter was missing. Her safe house in Savannah had been emptied 20 minutes before Luca's men arrived. No bodies, no signs of struggle, just an open bedroom window, a stuffed rabbit left on the floor, and a white ribbon tied around the bedpost. Celeste's ribbon. Luca received the news in the mansion library. Maya watched the moment hit him. He did not rage. That would have been easier to witness. He became still, so still that the men around him seemed afraid to breathe. The guard, delivering the news, lowered his head as if expecting death. Luca turned away and placed both hands on the edge of the desk. His shoulders rose once, fell. Maya saw the father before the boss could bury him. Then he looked up. "Find my daughter." The room emptied. Maya stayed. She knew she should leave. Knew he would not want her seeing him fractured. knew she had no right to stand there in the private wreckage of a man whose world had swallowed her by accident, but she thought of a 6-year-old girl and a stuffed rabbit on the floor. So she stayed. Luca did not look at her. "You should sleep." "So should you." "I don't sleep when someone takes what is mine." His voice was flat, dangerous. Maya stepped closer. Her name. A long silence. "Sophia." Maya softened despite herself. "Sophia," she repeated. Luca's hand tightened around the desk edge. "My enemies do not know she is mine. Most of my own people do not know. Her mother died before Sophia turned 1. I kept her hidden because I thought distance was protection." He laughed once, without humor. "I was wrong." Maya's throat ached. For the first time, she understood the true shape of the wedding. Luca Santoro had not been walking toward marriage. He had been walking toward a trap with his daughter's life hanging above it. "Why Celeste?" she asked. The Moraus found proof Sophia existed. Celeste offered a union. Her father offered silence. "And you believed them?" "No." He finally looked at her. "I planned to expose them during the wedding." Maya went cold. "The dress?" "Yes." "You knew there might be something hidden in it." "I suspected there would be evidence. Not a blade." The room seemed to darken around her. "You used me." His expression tightened. "At first, I used the boutique. You let that dress come to us. I had men watching, but not close enough to stop someone from shooting through the windows." His silence cut deeper than. Maya stepped back. The hurt came fast, humiliating in its force. She had known he was dangerous, known he was manipulative, known she was a piece in a game she did not understand. But part of her had believed the moment behind the table was real. His body over hers, his voice telling her to breathe, his hand almost touching her cheek. Maybe that was what hurt most. Not that he had used her. That she had wanted to be more than useful to him. Luca saw the thought cross her face. "Maya." "No?" Her voice broke. And she hated it. "Don't say my name like that." "Like what?" "Like you re-allowed to care after arranging the circumstances that almost got me killed." Something dangerous flickered in his eyes. But this time, it looked like pain. "I did not arrange that." "You arranged enough." He stepped toward her. She stepped back. He stopped. A muscle worked in his jaw. "You are right." That disarmed her more than denial would have. Luca looked down, then back up. "At the beginning, you were a variable, a civilian in a place I expected Celeste to make a mistake." Maya's eyes burned. "And now," his voice lowered, "now you are the mistake I made by not realizing sooner that I would burn every plan I had to keep you alive." The words landed between them like a confession wearing armor. Maya could not breathe. She wanted to believe him. She wanted to run from wanting it. Before she could answer, the library doors opened. A guard entered. "Parle, boss." "There's a package at the gate." Inside the package was a small white dress. A child's dress. Handmade. Maya recognized the stitching immediately, because she had made it. Not for Luca's daughter, for the children's shelter across town, where once a month Maya donated repaired dresses under no name. Dresses for girls who had court hearings, birthdays, foster placements, any day when a child needed to feel chosen. This one had tiny pearl buttons and blue embroidery at the hem. Maya touched it with trembling fingers. How do they have this? Luca stared at her. What is it? I made this for St. Anne's house. The shelter. His face changed. Maya's blood went cold. Luca, she whispered. My cousin volunteers there after school. The mansion moved like a machine waking from sleep. Within minutes, Luca had men pulling street cameras, checking shelter logs, tracing calls, sending cars through Charleston. Maya tried calling her cousin Jalen 3 times. No answer. She called the shelter. No answer. Fear became physical. Luca found her in the foyer, gripping the banister so hard her fingers hurt. We will find him, he said. You don't know that. Yes, he said. I do. How? Because I know what men like Moreau want. And what is that? His eyes were dark. To make me choose. The message arrived at 1:13 m. A photo. Luca Santoro, 6 years old, sitting on a church pew in a white dress, clutching a stuffed rabbit. Beside her, half visible, was Jalen's backpack. Maya's legs nearly gave out. Luca caught her before she hit the floor. For one breath, she let herself cling to him. Then she pushed away. Where is that? Luca studied the photo. St. Bartholomew's. One of his men whispered. The old church near the harbor. It burned 10 years ago. Another said. Luca's eyes never left the screen. Maya recognized the stained glass behind Sophia. Blue roses, gold cross, cracked angel wing. Her grandmother had taken her there before the fire. I know a back entrance, Maya said. Luca looked at her. No. Yes. No. The word cracked this time. Maya stared at him. For the first time, Luca Santoro sounded afraid. Celeste wants me there, he said. Moreau wants me unstable. They put your cousin in the frame because they want you there too. Then they get what they want. No. Luca, your daughter is there. His face hardened in agony. And so is the boy you love. Maya flinched. She had not told him that. He looked toward the rain-black windows. You helped raise him. How do you know? I know everything I need to protect you. That sounds a lot like surveillance. It is. She should have been angry. She was. But beneath it was the terrible relief of being known when danger arrived. Luca stepped closer. Listen to me. I have spent my life walking into rooms designed to kill me. I know how to survive them. You do not. No, Maya said. I know how to be invisible in them. The words stopped him. I know service hallways. She continued. Backstairs. Laundry doors. Places powerful people forget exist because people like me use them. Luca's eyes searched hers. Do not ask me to sit safely in your mansion while children are used as bait. Silence. Then he reached into his jacket and pulled out a small black device. Tracker. Maya took it. His fingers closed around hers. Stay behind me when I tell you. I am not good at obeying. I have noticed. For one heartbeat, despite fear, Something almost tender passed between them. Then his hand lifted toward her face again. Stopped again. This time Maya caught his wrist. His eyes dropped to her fingers on his skin. "If we survive this," she whispered, "you and I are going to have a very ugly conversation about control." His mouth nearly curved. "If we survive this, I will let you yell as long as you need." That's not permission. That is a warning. His gaze darkened. "I like your warnings." The moment should not have existed, not with children missing, not with war outside, not with his bride hunting them through the city. But it did. A dangerous spark in the middle of terror. Then Luca pulled away. The convoy left the mansion without headlights. Rain hammered the SUVs as they cut through Charleston toward the harbor. Maya sat beside Luca again, dressed now in black pants, boots, and a coat one of his guards had found for her. Her sewing scissors were tucked inside her sleeve. Luca had seen and said nothing. That silence felt like respect. The old church waited at the end of a narrow street near the water, half hidden by fog and overgrown iron fencing. Its roof had collapsed in places. Burn marks still scarred the stone. Stained glass windows glowed faintly from lights inside, making the saints look wounded. Luca's men spread out. Maya led Luca through the side cemetery, past leaning headstones and wet weeds, to a service door half covered by ivy. "It sticks," she whispered. Luca tried the handle. Locked. Maya pulled a hairpin from her curls. He watched her. She glanced at him. Seamstresses know locks too. "Do I want to know why?" "No." The lock clicked. They entered through a narrow hallway smelling of ash, damp stone, and old flowers. Voices echoed from the nave. Celeste's voice. "He will come. He cannot help himself." August, Moreau, answered. "Then he dies where everyone can see what love made him." Maya felt Luca go still behind her. She looked back. His face was carved from shadow. In that moment, she understood what his enemies had misunderstood. Love had not made him weak. It had made him precise. They moved closer. Through a crack in the door, Maya saw Sophia sitting near the altar. Silent, but trembling, Jalen sat beside her. Wrists tied, eyes wide. Celeste stood before them in her white dress, the original wedding gown repaired enough to wear, the waistline smooth as if it had never hidden death. August stood with 6 armed men. Beside him was one of Luca's own guards, Marco, the man who had taken the microfilm. Betrayal sharpened the air. Luca saw him too. His expression did not change. But Maya felt something colder pass through him. Celeste turned toward the aisle. "Come out." "Luca, I know you there." Maya's stomach dropped. Luca pushed the door open and stepped into the ruined church. Maya followed before he could stop her. Every gun turned. Luca's men appeared from the shadows above and behind the pews. But Moreau's men had children in range. No one fired. The church became a frozen painting. Rain leaked through holes in the roof. Candles burned along the altar. Sophia saw Luca and made a small sound that broke Maya's heart. Luca's eyes went to his daughter, only for a second, then back to Celeste. "Let them go." Celeste smiled. She looked radiant and insane beneath the broken, stained glass. a bride standing in ruins. "You never looked at me the way you look at her," she said. Maya realized Celeste meant her, not Sophia. Here, the hatred in the bride's eyes had shifted. It was no longer only power. It was humiliation. A woman raised to believe she was the prize had watched Luca Santoro choose a seamstress in every way that mattered. Luca's voice remained calm. "This is between families." Celeste laughed. "No. It became something else when you touched her wrist like she mattered." Maya felt heat and fear twist together. August snapped. "Celeste." But she was done obeying. She ruined everything. Celeste said, "Do you know what it was like? Watching you defend her. A woman who should have kept her eyes down. A woman who looks like she belongs in the back room with pins in her mouth." Maya's face burned. Luca took one step forward. Every gun tightened. He stopped. His voice lowered into something lethal. "Speak about her body again, and the last thing you hear will be my voice." The church went silent. Maya could not look at him. If she did, she might break. Celeste's mouth trembled with rage. You would start a war for her. Luca looked at Maya then. In front of everyone. No denial left. "I already did." The words moved through the church like thunder. Auguste Moreau cursed under his breath. Marco lifted his gun slightly toward Maya. Luca saw. So did Maya. And in that half-second, she did the only thing no one expected. She moved first. Maya grabbed the loose end of Celeste's long veil as the bride turned and yanked with all her strength. The veil tangled around Celeste's arms and face. Celeste screamed. Marco's aim shifted. Luca fired once, striking the gun from Marco's hand. The church erupted. Luca's men surged from the shadows. Moreau's men fired into stone and pews. Luca crossed to Maya, wrapped one arm around her, and drove her behind a fallen column as bullets tore through candles and old wood. His body covered hers again, just like in the boutique. But this time she did not freeze. "Sophia." Maya gasped. "I know," Jalen shouted from near the altar. Maya saw Celeste stumble toward the children with the repaired dress clutched in one hand. Something silver flashed at her waist. Another blade. Maya slipped from Luca's grip. "Maya?" She ran low through smoke and candlelight, sewing scissors in her hand. Celeste reached Sophia first, grabbing the little girl by the shoulder. Maya slammed into Celeste from the side, hard enough to knock them both against the altar steps. Celeste clawed at her. Maya felt nails rake her cheek. The blade came up. Maya caught Celeste's wrist with both hands. For a moment, they strained there, bride and seamstress, silk and bloodless fury. All the cruelty of class and beauty and power condensed into one shaking knife. "Celeste," he said, "he will never love something like you." Maya thought it would hurt. It did not. Not anymore. She looked into Celeste's eyes and said, "Maybe not, but he trusts me with the truth." Then Maya twisted the knife hand into the folds of the wedding dress and drove her scissors through the satin, pinning the blade inside the heavy fabric. Celeste screamed. Luca was there a second later. He pulled Maya behind him and faced Celeste with a look so cold even she stopped fighting. Auguste Moreau shouted for his men to retreat, but the front doors of the church burst open. Black SUVs flooded the entrance with headlights. More Santoro men stormed in. Auguste looked toward Marco. Marco was on his knees, disarmed, bleeding from a cut at his temple, held down by 2 guards. The war ended not with a grand speech, but with the sound of powerful men realizing they had lost. Celeste tried to run. Sophia, still trembling, whispered, "Papa." Luca turned. Everything in him changed. Not soft, never soft, but shattered. He dropped to one knee in front of his daughter, hands hovering as if afraid she might vanish. Sophia launched herself into his arms. Luca held her so tightly Maya had to look away. Jalen stumbled into Maya a second later, and she caught him, is shaking, whispering his name, checking his face, his hands, his wrists. He was alive, frightened, furious in the way 13-year-old boys become when they almost cry and refuse to admit it. "You came," he whispered. Maya pressed her forehead to his. "Always." Across the ruined church, Luca looked at her over Sophia's hair. Their eyes met through smoke, rain, candlelight, and the torn remains of a wedding that had been built to kill him. There was no smile, no easy romance, only recognition. The kind that says, "I saw who you became when everything was burning, and I am never going to forget it." Bedaven. The city knew pieces of the truth. Not all of it. Never all. Auguste Moreau was arrested on charges that would never include half his crimes, but would hold him long enough for his empire to fracture. Celeste disappeared into federal custody after offering names, accounts, routes, and secrets in exchange for survival. Marco was taken somewhere Maya did not ask about. The official story called Maya a witness. The tabloids called her the seamstress who stopped a mafia wedding. The internet called her everything else. Hero, homewrecker, gold digger, brave, ugly, beautiful, liar, legend. Maya stopped reading after the first day. Luca moved her and Jalen into a guarded townhouse near the water while her apartment was repaired. She fought him about it, loudly, for nearly an hour. He listened without interrupting, standing by the fireplace with his sleeves rolled up, looking like a man who had survived bullets but was not sure how to survive her anger. "You do not get to buy my life because you feel guilty," she snapped. "No. You do not get to put guards outside my door without asking. No. You do not get to decide what safety means for me. No." Maya stopped, breathing hard. "Are you agreeing with me or managing me?" Luca considered this. "Both." She threw a pillow at him. He caught it. For half a second, something almost like laughter moved through the room. Then his expression sobered. "I am sorry," he said. Maya stilled. The apology did not come easily from him. She could hear the weight of it. Men like Luca were raised to avenge, not apologize. To possess, not ask. To bury regret under orders. So she did not dismiss it. She sat on the edge of the couch. He remained standing. "I used your world because I thought mine was the only one that mattered," he said. "I told myself no one would be hurt if I controlled every piece. People are not pieces. I know that now. Do you?" His eyes held hers. "Yes." The simplicity of it hurt. Maya looked down at her hands. They were still healing. Tiny cuts, bruises, a bandage around one palm. What happens now? She asked. Tomorrow. To us. The question escaped before she could take it back. Luca's entire body went still. There it was again, that dangerous silence where something enormous stood behind his restraint. He walked toward her slowly, stopping with enough distance that she could choose. I want to say I will leave you alone, he said. Maya's pulse changed. But that would be a lie. She looked up. His voice lowered. I can give you distance. I can give you time. I can stand outside your life instead of inside it if that is what you need. But do not ask me to pretend I can forget you. Maya's throat tightened. Luca. No. His gaze dropped to her mouth, then returned to her eyes with visible effort. Not yet. I am not asking for anything tonight. What are you doing then? Telling the truth before you decide I am only capable of strategy. Her chest ached. This was not softness. It was harder than softness. A man like Luca Santoro could give diamonds without effort, could buy buildings, silence enemies, command rooms, but standing in front of her with nothing but honesty that cost him something. Maya felt the pull of him. And the fear. She trusted him with her life now. Her heart was another matter. Your daughter needs you, she said. Yes. My cousin needs normal. Yes. I need my own door, my own work, my own money, my own name. Luca nodded once. Then that is what you will have. No tricks. A shadow of humor touched his mouth. Define tricks. Luca. His face softened by a fraction. No tricks. Maya believed him. Not because he had become harmless. He never would. She believed him because the most dangerous men were honest about what they wanted when lying no longer served them. 3 months later, Maya Collins opened her own bridal atelier on a quiet Charleston street beneath a blue awning. Not because Luca bought it for her. Because Luca found the building, negotiated the lease, destroyed 3 hidden predatory clauses in the contract, then handed the papers to Maya and told her she could sign or walk away. She signed after making her own lawyer review every line. The sign above the door read Collins Atelier in gold letters her grandmother would have cried to see. On opening morning, women filled the shop. Not all rich, not all thin, not all certain. Maya designed dresses for bodies other boutiques treated like problems. Soft arms, wide hips, round bellies, pregnant brides, older brides, shy brides, second chance brides, courthouse brides, women who had never believed they were allowed to take up space in white satin. Maya made space for them. Jalen worked the front desk badly but with confidence. Sophia visited sometimes, under careful protection, carrying a sketchbook and asking whether every dress needed sparkle. Luca always stood near the door when she did. Watching his daughter laugh in a room filled with fabric and sunlight, as if the sight wounded and healed him at the same time, Maya pretended not to notice him watching her too. She failed. Luca came on rainy evenings, never during fittings, never when customers might feel intimidated. He would stand outside beneath the awning. Black coat, damp. Guards across the street, waiting until the last bride left. The first time, Maya opened the door and said, "Are you planning to haunt my business?" He said, "Only on days ending in Y." She tried not to smile. He did not come in until she invited him. That mattered. Everything mattered now. Boundaries became their strange courtship. Luca learned to ask before assigning guards. Maya learned that accepting protection was not the same as surrendering. He sent coffee, but not jewelry. She sent back invoices when he tried to overpay. He framed the first one. One evening in late spring, after rain had washed the city clean and left the streets shining, Luca arrived without his men visible. Maya noticed immediately. "That seems reckless," she said, locking the atelier door behind her. "They re there." "Where? If you can see them, they are doing poorly." She rolled her eyes, but her heart was already beating faster. He held a garment bag. Maya looked at it. "No." He lifted an eyebrow. "You have not seen what it is." "It is a dress." "Yes." "For whom?" He paused. The pause was enough. Maya's breath caught. "Luca, I am not proposing." The disappointment that flashed through her was so sudden she hated herself for it. His eyes warmed with dangerous satisfaction. "You looked upset." I looked relieved. "You are a terrible liar." She crossed her arms. "And you are enjoying this too much." "Yes." He stepped closer, holding the garment bag between them like an offering instead of a demand. "Sophia asked if you would make her a dress for the father-daughter dance at her school." Maya blinked. "Oh." The emotion hit unexpectedly. "She asked me." She said, "No one else understands twirl requirements." A laugh escaped Maya before she could stop it. Then her eyes stung. Luca watched her carefully, as if learning every expression still cost him something. "She also asked," he continued, voice quieter, "if you would come." Maya looked up. "As what?" His gaze held hers. "S. Maya." Her heart moved. So simple. So much. He was not asking her to be a secret. Not a distraction. Not a pawn dragged into a war. Not a bride replacing another bride in some power game. Maya. That was all. That was everything. She took the garment bag from him. Their fingers brushed. Neither moved away. The street was quiet around them. Charleston glowed gold after rain. Somewhere in the distance, church bells rang. Soft and old. Luca's thumb moved once over her knuckles. "May I?" he asked. Maya knew what he meant. Not the dress. Not the dance. The space between them. The touch he had stopped himself from taking again and again since the day she found the blade. She stepped closer. "Yes." Luca lifted his hand to her face. Slowly. Carefully. Giving her time to move away. She did not. His palm touched her cheek. Warm against skin, once slapped in a room full of people. His thumb rested near the faint scar Celeste's ring had left. His eyes lowered to it, and something dark passed through him. Maya covered his hand with hers. "I'm still here," she whispered. His gaze returned to hers. "I know." But his voice broke on the edge of those two words. That was when Maya understood. Luca Santoro had been feared by cities, obeyed by killers, hunted by families, betrayed by allies, and nearly destroyed by love weaponized against him. But losing her had become the fear he could not control. She rose onto her toes. He met her halfway. The kiss was not soft at first. It was restrained too long. A storm finally allowed to touch land. His hand slid to her waist. Firm but not trapping. Her fingers curled into his coat. Rain dripped from the awning behind them, somewhere across the street. One of his hidden guards definitely looked away. When Luca pulled back, his forehead rested against hers. "You terrify me," he said. Maya smiled. Breathless. "Good." His eyes opened. Dark. Devoted. Still dangerous. "You should be terrified, too." "I am." And she touched the edge of his jaw. "And I trust myself now." His expression changed, because she had not said she trusted him. Not yet. And Luca, who had once taken control as if it were the same as care, understood the gift inside the difference. He kissed her hand, not like a king rewarding loyalty, like a man making a vow he did not deserve, but intended to spend his life earning. 6 weeks later, Maya stood beneath soft lights in a school ballroom, watching Sophia spin in a pale blue dress embroidered with tiny silver stars. Luca stood beside her in a black suit, one hand in his pocket, looking painfully out of place among paper decorations. Nervous fathers and children eating cupcakes. Sophia waved from across the room. Maya waved back. "She loves you," Luca said. Maya glanced at him. "She loves the dress." "She loves you." Maya looked away before he could see what that did to her. The music changed. Fathers and daughters moved to the dance floor. Sophia ran to Luca, grabbed his hand, and pulled him into the center. For a man who could face assassins without blinking, Luca looked momentarily helpless when his daughter placed his hand properly and ordered him not to step on the hem. Maya laughed softly. Then she felt someone staring. Across the ballroom, a woman she did not know watched her with open curiosity. Not judgment, not contempt, just curiosity. Maybe she had seen the headlines months ago. Maybe she recognized the seamstress who ruined a mafia wedding. Maybe she wondered how a woman like Maya had ended up here, beside a man like Luca Santoro, wearing a dark green dress that fit her body, like she had finally stopped apologizing for it. For once, Maya did not shrink. She stood taller. Luca noticed from the dance floor. Even while holding Sophia's hand, even under warm school lights instead of gunfire, he noticed. His eyes met Maya's over his daughter's head. The look was quiet, possessive. Yes, protective. Always. But also something deeper now. Proud. Maya smiled. And Luca Santoro, feared by men who ruled cities, softened only enough for the two girls who had survived his world and changed it. At the end of the night, when Sophia fell asleep in the car clutching her stuffed rabbit, Luca walked Maya back to the atelier. The street was empty. The blue awning moved gently in the humid night breeze. Maya unlocked the door and stepped inside. Moonlight silvered the fabrics hanging along the walls. On the center table lay the first dress she had made after opening the shop. Ivory satin, pearl buttons, no hidden blades, no secret film, no blood debt stitched into the lining. Just beauty. Luca stood behind her, silent. Maya touched the fabric. "I used to think wedding dresses were promises other women got to make," she said. Luca did not move. "And now," she looked back at him, "now I think they read just fabric until someone brave enough chooses what they mean." His eyes held hers in the quiet atelier. Then Luca reached into his coat and removed a small velvet box. Maya's heart stopped. He did not kneel. Not yet. He only placed the box on the table beside the dress. Then stepped back. No pressure, he said. No strategy. No witnesses. No families. No alliance. No va. Maya stared at the box. Her pulse filled the room. Luca's voice was low. Open it when you want. Throw it into the harbor if you want. Make me wait if you want. She looked at him through sudden tears. You would wait. His answer came without hesitation. I have been waiting since the moment you held a knife in your hand and told me the truth. Maya laughed softly, even as tears slipped down her cheeks. That is a strange love story. Luca's mouth curved. It is ours. Outside, Charleston slept under moonlight and old ghosts. Inside, surrounded by dresses made for women who had finally learned they deserved to be seen. Maya Collins opened the box. The ring inside was not enormous. It was not a trophy. It was an antique sapphire surrounded by small diamonds. Deep blue like rain at midnight. Inside the band, engraved in tiny letters, were 4 words, close enough to live. Maya pressed a hand over her mouth. Luca stayed where he was, waiting, letting the choice be hers. At last, Maya lifted the ring, walked toward him, and placed it in his palm. His face went still, for one terrible second. Pain flashed across his eyes. Then Maya held out her hand. You ask properly, she whispered. Luca stared at her. The man who had once locked boutique doors and commanded rooms and moved people like chess pieces looked suddenly undone by permission. Slowly, Luca Santoro lowered himself to one knee. Not because tradition demanded it. Not because anyone watched. Because for Maya, power meant nothing unless it could bow. He took her hand in both of his. Maya Collins, he said, voice rough with everything he usually controlled. You saved my life when you owed me nothing. You protected my daughter when my whole world failed her. You stood in front of monsters who called you small and made them look weak. I cannot promise you peace. I cannot promise I will ever be easy to love. But I promise you choice. I promise you truth. I promise that every dangerous thing I am will stand between you and harm, never between you and yourself. Maya's tears fell freely now. Luca looked up at her. Marry me when you are ready. Or make me earn the answer for the rest of my life. Maya smiled through tears. You are very dramatic. Yes. And possessive. Yes. And impossible. Frequently. She laughed, and he looked at her like the sound had saved something in him. Then Maya touched his face. Yes, she whispered, but if you ever try to manage me like a war asset again, I will sew every pocket in your suits shut. Luca's eyes darkened with amusement and devotion. Understood. He slid the ring onto her finger. This time, there was no screaming bride, no hidden blade, no shattered glass. Only moonlight. Fabric. And a dangerous man kneeling before the woman no one had thought important enough to fear. Maya leaned down and kissed him. Luca rose, pulling her gently into his arms. And outside the atelier, a black SUV waited beneath the Charleston rain, not as a cage, not as a threat, but as a promise that whatever darkness came next, she would never again stand invisible inside it. And somewhere upstairs, in the small apartment above the shop, a sewing machine waited beside an unfinished dress, ivory satin, blue thread, a new beginning stitched by her own hands.